Okay, so I just waded through 40 different business books to bring you the ultimate summary. We're talking about a complete blueprint, literally the step-by-step guide to getting, living, and staying rich, pulled from the absolute best minds in the game.
The biggest problem with most of these books is they have one or two incredible ideas buried under hundreds of pages of filler. So, what if you could just skip all that fluff? What if you could get right to the core principles that actually move the needle? Well, that is exactly what we are going to do right now. Now, these insights come from millionaire entrepreneur Mark Tilbury. He basically took one for the team, read all these books, and distilled them down to only the key points you actually need to know. He did all the heavy lifting, so we don't have to. And he organized everything into 4 essential pillars. First up, Pillar 1, how to start with nothing. Then we get into Pillar 2, the art of the sale. After that, Pillar 3, marketing that actually matters. And finally, we'll wrap up with Pillar 4, thinking like the rich. Let's dive in.
So, how do you start a business with zero capital? It is one of the most Googled questions on the planet, and the answer, well, it starts in a place you might not expect. It starts with you. The very first step is to figure out your strengths. Now, society is always telling us to work on our weaknesses, right? But the book StrengthsFinder 2.0 says that's a huge waste of time. Your true strength is your natural talent multiplied by the time you invest in it. Just think about it. If you and Tiger Woods started golf at the same time with the same coach, every hour he practices would be worth 10 of yours, all because of his natural talent. You have to find your multiplier.
Okay, once you know what you're good at, you need an idea. And according to Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, the absolute best billion-dollar ideas come from something he calls a contrarian truth. It's something you believe is true that most other people think is crazy. Steve Jobs believed we didn't want keyboards on our phones when BlackBerry was king. Uber believed we'd happily get into a car with a total stranger. That unique belief, that's your edge.
So you have that contrarian idea. Now you need a plan. But forget those stuffy 50-page business plans nobody ever reads. The Business Model Canvas lets you see your entire business on a single page. Look at this example, Timmy's Membership Builders. In just a few seconds, you see exactly what he does. He builds membership sites for YouTubers. Who are his customers? Creators with 1 million+ subs. How does he get them? Email and DMs. And how does he make money? A 10% cut. It's a brilliantly simple way to see if your idea can actually work. Probably the biggest mistake any new entrepreneur can make is spending months building something that nobody wants. And that's where the idea of a minimum viable product, or MVP, comes from. It's the most basic, bare-bones version of your product that you can use to just test demand. The founder of Dropbox is famous for this. He just made a simple explainer video. The product didn't even exist yet, but that video got him 75,000 signups overnight, proving people desperately wanted it. That's how you start from nothing.
So you've got an idea and you've tested it. Awesome. But an idea is totally worthless if you can't convince people to buy it, right? That brings us to pillar number 2, the art of the sale. And look, this isn't just for business. You are always selling, whether you're trying to convince your boss to give you a raise or your friends on where to go for dinner. Most people lose the sale before they even open their mouths because they don't frame the conversation correctly. The book Pre-Stusion tells this great story about a consultant who is always getting asked for discounts. So he started saying this joke to clients. As you can see, I can't charge you $1 million for this. And guess what happened? Nobody asked for a discount ever again. By dropping that huge number, he anchored their perception, which made his actual fee of $75,000 seem like a bargain. So clever. And framing isn't just about the words you use. In fact, a massive 55% of our communication is nonverbal. It's body language, how you stand, how you dress, your gestures. All of that sends a powerful message long before you say a single word. It sets the entire stage. Okay, here is a question that completely flips the script on selling. When you're in that moment, are you just trying to sell a product, or are you genuinely trying to solve a problem? The most successful salespeople aren't pushy at all. They're empathetic. They focus on understanding and solving the other person's problem, not just on closing the deal. Here is an incredible tool from former FBI negotiator Chris Voss. Let's say your landlord raises your rent. Instead of getting into an argument, you ask a calibrated question. You calmly say, I understand you need to raise it, but how am I supposed to do that? See, it's not aggressive. It puts the ball back in their court and invites them to help you solve your problem. It instantly turns a confrontation into a collaboration.
All right, on to pillar 3. You've got a great product, you know how to sell it one-on-one. But in a world with so much noise, how does anyone notice you in the first place? Well, that's where marketing comes in.
In his classic book, Purple Cow, Seth Godin argues that old school marketing is basically dead. Think about it. If you're driving down a road and see a field of brown cows, you ignore them. They're boring. But what if you saw a purple cow? You'd slam on the brakes, take a picture, and tell everyone you know. Your business has to be that purple cow. It has to be so remarkable, so unique that people can't help but talk about it.
And the best way to be remarkable is to tell a great story. But here's the secret from building a story brand that most businesses get wrong. Your company is not the hero of the story. Your customer is. They're Luke Skywalker. They have a problem they need to solve, and your business is the wise guide, like Yoda or Dumbledore, who gives them the plan and the tools to win the day. When you make the customer the hero, they'll always pay attention.
So, how do you know if your marketing is actually going to work? You need real, honest feedback. But please don't just ask your friends and family if they like your idea. They love you, they're going to be nice. That's where the mom test comes in. Instead of asking for their opinion on your idea, you ask about their life and their problems. You don't say, "Do you like my piano app idea?" You say, "Tell me about the last time you tried to learn an instrument. What was frustrating about it?" That gives you real, unbiased information you can actually use. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important pillar of all, thinking like the rich. Because listen, making money is one thing, but keeping it and growing it, that's a completely different ballgame. It's crazy, but a lot of people who make six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. This next part explains why. Okay, so almost every business on earth operates with this formula. Sales minus expenses equals your profit. Whatever's left over at the end, that's your profit. But the book Profit First completely flips that script. It says your formula should be sales minus profit equals expenses. You take your profit out first. This forces your business to learn how to run on what's left over. It's a simple change, but it's a powerful constraint that guarantees you're always profitable. Now, let's talk about taxes. Most of us see the tax code as this thing designed to take our money, but the wealthy see it completely differently. The US tax code is enormous, right? Thousands of pages. But get this, less than 1% of it is about how to pay your taxes. The other 99.5% is all about how to save on taxes. It's basically a giant rulebook of incentives to encourage you to do things the government wants, like investing in real estate or creating jobs. All right, let's do a quick brain teaser for you. This one comes from the book Thinking Fast and Slow. Ready? A bat and a ball cost $1.10 total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? If you said 10 cents, don't worry, you are in good company. But it's wrong. The correct answer is 5 cents. Think about it. A 5-cent ball and a bat that costs $1 more, $1.05, adds up to $1.10. Your brain just jumped to the easy, intuitive answer. And that little riddle perfectly explains the two ways our brain operates. System 1 is fast, it's intuitive, it's our gut reaction, and it's often wrong. System 2 is slow, analytical, and takes real effort. When you're an entrepreneur just starting out, you need to use System 1 and take fast risks. But as your company grows and you have more to lose, you have to learn to slow down, engage System 2, and really analyze your decisions to protect what you've built. So, there you have it, the entire 40-book blueprint, from starting with nothing to managing your wealth like the pros. These ideas can show you the road. They can give you the map. But at the end of the day, only discipline and execution can actually get you there. Which really leaves just one final question you need to ask yourself. When it comes to the big decisions in your life, which system is running the show? The fast guess or the slow truth?